Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. Remember now your Creator in the days of your youth, while the evil days come not, nor the years draw near, when you shall say, I have no pleasure in them. While the sun or the light or the moon or the stars be not darkened, nor the clouds return after the rain. In the day when the keepers of the house shall tremble, and the strong men shall bow themselves, and the grinders cease, because they are few, and those that look out of the windows be darkened. And the doors shall be shut in the streets, when the sound of the grinding is low, and he shall rise up at the voice of the bird, and all the daughters of music shall be brought low. Let's get into this retail apocalypse. Kahalayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Waha, Raha Kodash. All praises and glory go to you, Lord. Double honors of respect go to our apostles, our elders, and our teachers, the men of Great Millstone. To you I say shalom, salutations. To the hopeful elect out there, it's your brother Amraya. And I wanted to get into this issue of all these retail stores and food chains closing down, which, was dubbed the retail apocalypse some time ago. And I have here on the screen the definition of retail apocalypse. The term retail apocalypse refers to the closing of many brick and mortar retail stores, particularly those that sell clothing, electronic, and similar consumer goods. This trend is driven by a combination of factors, including the rise of e-commerce, changing consumer habits, and shifts in experimental retail. Okay. Now, I went to Wikipedia because it says the following retailers have all either closed or announced plans to close large numbers of retail locations since 2010 during a time period labeled a retail apocalypse by media. Okay. And it goes extensively into the stores that are closing. 99 cents only stores announced April 4th this year that its 371 locations in Western United States would begin to close. The COVID-19 issue, inflation, and shrink were cited as major reasons for the closures. The company has considered filing for bankruptcy prior to the announcement. Goes on in order, alphabetical order. A.C. Moore, Abercrombie and Finch, Aerosols, Aeropostale. I don't even know what store that is, but just look at the names. Aldo, Alfred Angelo, American Apparel, American Eagle Outfitters, and the list just goes on and on and on. Okay? And when I say it goes on and on and on, look, I'm barely in the C's. Okay, CVS announced it's closed 900 stores over a 3-year period starting in spring of 2022. Salakia. So David's Bridal. And just look at the names, man, because Red Lobster, one of your favorite store chains, is probably closing right near you. Family Dollar, look at this one. And I'm not going to lie to you, as a being on the bottom here in Babylon, America Babylon the Great, frequent Family Dollar, but it announced the closure of up to 390 of its 8,000 locations. Parent company Dollar Tree also said it would convert 200 others to Dollar Tree, and an additional 970 Family Dollar stores were stated to close in March 2024, this year. So you got to understand, look, Foot Locker, okay? You're not going to be able to go get your Jordans and your Adidas, your Nikes, because Foot Locker announced plans to close 400 locations by 2026. mostly those underperforming in malls, to focus on experimental concepts and better customer outreach, right? And again, the list just goes on and on and on. We ain't even hit J through R or S through Z, okay? Now, we are noticing that the Lord is bringing down America, Babylon the Great. Its great commerce is being brought to nothing. This is an article I noticed, and I just wanted to read a little bit of the article for you. It's found on marketplace.org. It says Macy's isn't facing a retail apocalypse, it's facing a shrinking middle class. Okay. Back in the day, the New York Macy's had a department store rival just down the street called Gimbel's. In the 20th century, the two vied for a particular kind of customer, the white middle class consumer, said Vicki Howard, a historian and author from Main Street to Mail. After World War II, the target demographic grew and moved to the suburbs, and so shopping malls chased those suburban consumers, she said. But while the department stores were growing, their target market was quietly shrinking. In 1971, 60% of Americans were in the middle class. Today, only half are. That's a problem for retailers like Macy's, which announced it's closing 150 or nearly a third of its stores in its latest attempt to turn things around. The retailer is just one of many that have been downsizing, including Gap, Foot Locker, Bed Bath & Beyond. Okay? So, the fading of so many household names is often dubbed the retail apocalypse. There's plenty to blame, like the internet, Amazon, and two-day shipping, but the slower, steadier threat of shrinking middle class has been eating away at retailers since long before the modern disruptors came on the scene. So you got to understand, the Lord is quietly, slowly but surely bringing America, Babylon the Great to its knees, because the shrinking middle class is just a sign of things to come. As we always do, we filter through the scriptures, because the Lord, his intentions on the earth were made known through his holy prophets, through his word, and they can be found outlined throughout this entire book, as the Holy Scriptures, the Bible, okay? The Old Testament, the Apocrypha, and the New Testament. This is Isaiah chapter 24. I begin in verse 3. It says, "The land shall be utterly emptied and utterly spoiled, for Yahweh hath spoken this word. The earth mourneth and fadeth away, the world languish and fadeth away. The haughty people of the earth do languish. The earth is also defiled under the inhabitants thereof, because they have transgressed the laws, changed the ordinance, broken the everlasting covenant. Therefore," verse 6, "therefore hath the curse devoured the earth, and they that dwell therein are desolate. Therefore the inhabitants of the earth are burned, and few men left in it." And that curse being spoken of right here is that thermonuclear fire that the Lord intends on judging the world with, okay? Namely, America, Babylon the Great, to the point it will look like a lake of fire from the chariots of the Lord, or what you know as UAPs or UFOs. Verse 7, "The new wine mourneth, the vine languish, all the merry-hearted do sigh, the mirth of tabrets cease, the noise of them that rejoice endeth, and the joy of the harp ceaseth. They shall not drink wine with a song, drink strong drink shall be bitter to them that drink it. The city of confusion is broken down," right? And the city of confusion is America, Babylon the Great, okay? Verse 10 again, "The city of confusion is broken down. Every house is shut up that no man may come in. There is a crying for wine in the streets. All the joy is darkened, the mirth of the land is gone. And the city is left desolation, and the gate is smitten with destruction." So the Lord intended, and it is telling you he is intending on bringing the city of confusion to its knees, to bring destruction upon America, Babylon the Great. Okay? He's going to bring destruction because he's a man of war. It's going to come physically, mentally, spiritually. It's going to come through retail. It's going to come through physical, actual war, civil wars, race wars, riots, the people rebelling, seditions. Okay? There's going to be so many different ways that he brings America to its knees. Okay? And the rest of the inhabitants of the earth. And why? Well, he said it earlier. Because, verse 5, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof. The earth is defiled. All the foundations of the earth are out of course. And he is going to reset it in righteousness to be ruled by his son, Yahushua, whom you ignorantly call Jesus, and his 144,000 ruling government. Okay? I wanted to get this in the blue letter real quick. Isaiah chapter 24. This is the New Living Translation. I'll begin at verse 5. It says, "The earth suffers for the sins of its people, for they have twisted God's instructions, violated his laws, and broken his everlasting covenant. Therefore a curse consumes the earth. Its people must pay the price for their sin." Right? They are destroyed by fire, and only a few are left alive. The grapevines waste away, and there is no new wine. All the merry makers sigh and mourn. The cheerful sound of tabourines is stilled. The happy cries of celebration are heard no more. The melodious chords of the harp are silent. Gone are the joys of wine and song. Alcoholic drink turns bitter in the mouth. The city writhes in chaos. Every home is locked up to keep out intruders. Mobs gather in the streets crying out for wine. Joy has turned to gloom. Gladness has been banished from the land. The city is left in ruins, its gates battered down. Throughout the earth, the story is the same. Only a remnant is left, like the stray olives left on the tree of a few grapes left on the vine after harvest. Right. And trust me, only the remnant, the elect of the nation of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians, you confusion of faces, you speckled birds, those whose forefathers are Israelites, though you may happen to look like the other nations, you will be the ones left, while the rest of the world is in utter destruction and disarray. Okay? And this was promised. So why do you have a retail apocalypse consuming all of your store chains? Because Yahweh, whom you ignorantly call God, a man of war, is bringing the pain to your doorstep. He's closing down your commerce and your interactions, because that is one of America, Babylon's, the greatest things, is that it makes merchants rich. And we'll end out in Zephaniah chapter 1, and I'll get it now. This is Zephaniah chapter 1. I'll begin at verse 7. It says, "Hold your peace at the presence of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai, for the day of Yahweh is at hand. For Yahweh hath prepared a sacrifice. He hath bid his guests right." You have had the mouthpieces of the Lord, the prophets, starting with the men of Great Millstone, out here on the highways, byways, and hedges, telling you that destruction is coming, that the economy is going to fail, that they're going to issue out a mark that will go under the right hand, the left hand, or the forehead, and that you may not buy or sell unless you have that mark, that slavery through technocracy is coming in the form of the micro C-hip. Okay? You've had the prophets out here warning you of your behaviors, that the wages of sin is death, and nothing has changed. And people they've chosen their side. Okay? Verse 8, "It shall come to pass in the day of Yahweh's sacrifice that I will punish the princes and the king's children, and all such as are clothed with strange apparel." Right? You different wines and philosophies that have been spread that are obtuse in opposition to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. Verse 9, in the same day also will I punish all those that leap on the threshold which fill their masters' houses with violence and deceit. So you got it coming, nation of Esau, Edom, and those who like to imitate their behaviors. Verse 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. And we're hearing that crackling noise as we speak. We're watching America Babylon the Great fall as we speak. It started long before we got to this video. The retail apocalypse, the weakening of the U.S. dollar, the weakening of the U.S. military, and ultimately the Lord is about to bombard that curse upon America Babylon the Great, which is thermonuclear fire. Verse 10, and it shall come to pass in that day, saith Yahweh, that there shall be a noise of a cry from the fish gate, and a howling from the second, and a great crashing from the hills. Howl, you inhabitants of Maktesh, for all the merchant people are cut down. All they that bear silver are cut off. Right. Your economy is going to crash. There ain't no doubt about that. So get ready, okay? Verse 12, and it shall come to pass at that time that I will search Jerusalem with candles. And Jerusalem is a people before it is a place. You so-called Negroes, Latinos, and North American Indians. You confusion of faces. You speckled birds. And punish the men that are settled on their lees, that say in their heart, the Lord will not do good, neither will he do evil. And the Lord intends to bring the pain to your doorstep if this is your mindset. Prepare yourself for the falling of America Babylon the Great. The land of confusion is going to be brought to nothing, to desolation. Okay? This is the intention of Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai. The retail apocalypse is not occurring because the middle class is failing. The middle class, the retail apocalypse is all failing because Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai despises America Babylon the Great. And it is his will to bring it to desolation. Hopefully this has been edifying. I want to say call halal la Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai for this message. Until the next time, Shalom.